Hi, everybody. Deborah Morris with Deborah Morris Home Team Keller Williams. I have the honor of talking to Wendy Taylor from Strategic Online Marketing today, and she has a story that I think you may be able to relate to. Wendy, what do you have to share with us?
Sure. So I get a lot of clients, they'll call and they'll say, "Hey, my website, we're not getting leads and we don't know what to do." And I'll say, "Okay, well, let me take a look at your site and we'll go through it." And some of the simplest things, I'll say, "Have you tested your forms lately?" And they'll say, "Oh yeah, we just did that." And yeah, Sally's getting the forms. And I'll say, "Really? Well, let me just test that." So I did have a client that we tested the forms and found out that the forms were going to an old employee's inbox. And when I looked on the back of the website, they had a lot of leads in there.
Wow.
So that's one tip I have is if you've got forms on your website, test them and test them often because stuff breaks. Stuff breaks. So, and then also look on the back end of your website because there's usually a kind of a holding container where a lot of the leads will go to. And maybe the person that is managing your website doesn't realize those are there. So yeah, we had to do a change of the form and change the email address and then test it and make sure that the forms were not going into spam and that the person was actually getting it. So that was an issue. And then we've had other funny things happen where the contact information, they forget to put their phone number on the website. So they can't figure out how to contact the company. And I know that seems like such a simple thing, but yeah, we forget those things. So I always recommend, hey, put it above the fold, put it in the top right or left corner, and maybe your address too. And make sure that your navigation people can click on too, because that's another thing I have found that they've got the pages there, but they're not clickable. So that's sometimes forgotten. And then one of the other things too, that people forget to do, and this gets a little technical, but just make sure that your description tags on your pages are filled out correctly so Google can read them, and put your phone number in them. So those are some of the blunders that I've seen that have happened with websites. And so those are some of the things that I right away go to and look at as far as, gee, I'm not getting leads on my website.
Well, my head is swimming right now. So yes, I could say, well, that makes sense. And yes, I want a user-friendly website that I know that I don't have to search like crazy. But for me to find time in my business to be able to do that, and then of course Chuck takes over a lot of that, but he still has limited time. That is probably the number one thing I'm going to reach out to you about, just to get another set of eyes on it. So how do they reach you, Wendy, if they're like me and they's like, what did you just say? How do I do it? How do I have
Sure.
time? How do they reach you?
Yeah. So my phone number, you can call or text, and that number is 407-341-0582. Or they could email me. My email is a little bit lengthy, but it's Wendy, Wendy, at the word strategic online marketing.net. So those are the
Got
two
it.
ways, but they could text and they could take pictures too. I've had clients send me pictures. This is what I see on my screen. Please help. So they can text me pictures of stuff that if it just doesn't look right.
And one last thing, I was just thinking of, technology is constantly changing. So if you just need to know if your stuff is still working, call Wendy. Thank you, Wendy. And I will talk to you again soon with another tip.
Great. Thanks, Deborah.
Bye.